Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this review stream here on Access the Animus. Finally today we are able to play Assassin's Creed Shadows with you all. We are playing on ultra settings, and it does look quite amazing on PC. We have played both on PC and on Xbox Series X. And we are already starting with heavy rain, so we can have a look at how the game performs. This is in our settlement. Hello everyone. Hello Ikrik. Hello Nick. Welcome to the stream. We are going to review the game throughout the stream. We're gonna answer all the questions that you guys might have. Any burning question you might have. It's going to be a spoiler-free stream, definitely. So we cannot spoil the game for you guys, and we do not want to spoil the game for you guys. But I'm gonna drop some info here and there because throughout the review I want to talk about the story as well, in broad strokes at least. Hello, Astristul. Hello, Pedro Reis. Hello, XXX Plane. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. Spoiler free, yes, of course. It should be. We are playing at 60 FPS. We are playing with the graphic card is a GeForce 3070, so not really the latest. We are trying to play with the ultra settings, see how the game is performing on our screen with low latency. It seems to perform pretty well, to be honest. Hello Itachi Army, welcome to the stream. How can we play? Well, basically Ubisoft gave us a review code to review the game. Actually, they gave us access to a platform to play the game even earlier than most of the reviewers, back at the start of March. Sary is playing, and we are not having a high Sary counter, but we're gonna start and go back to a weekly or sort of weekly schedule with our streams. So in that regard, we're gonna go back to our Sary death counter.
In my defense, I've never played this.
In Sary's defense, she hasn't played the game that much, for sure, as you heard. And she's gonna bring her style, her gameplay style to this. Hello Sixies, welcome to the stream. Hello Chantry Scholar, Gamer Nipple. Hello everyone. Dom, hello Dom. Hey Dom. Nice to see you all here. We are around 15-ish hours in the game in this save file. You might remember that the devs mentioned that because the landscape is very mountainous, that there is a pathfinder feature in the game that allows you to go through the main roads with your horse without having to go through the mountains. But it's not exactly true. I mean, the Pathfinder feature is there, as you can see. Sarah is showcasing it, but you can actually climb the mountains. As you can see, you're not going to see anything, but sometimes it's going to be faster than that, faster than roaming the world with your horse. So I did find myself going switching between Pathfinder and horse, and going with Naue, crossing the mountains, especially because Naue is super fast at walking and running, not as the horse outside of cities, but she is faster than horses within cities. So yeah, Sary is now going around the world. Hopefully it's going to stop raining soon, but you can see, we're gonna see while we're playing and reviewing the game, how much the seasons and especially the weather system can change rapidly. As you can see, it's already slowing down Some light is coming through. It's not slowing down. I was lying. Anyway, Yara, welcome to the stream. Justin, welcome to the stream. Yes, we're gonna show some customization. We're gonna go through most of the aspects of the game, and if my review is going to spark any of your questions, just feel free to write them in the chat. We're going to try and discuss every aspect of the game. How many dogs and cats did you collect? That's a very nice question. Not in this save file, but we should be at what, 8 or 9 between cats and dogs and puppies. And then there's so many other animals that you can bring to your settlement, to your hideout. So yeah, I think we can find there's definitely more dogs and cats to find, but yeah. You said you are playing at 4K. No, we are playing at 1080, but with ultra settings and with a GeForce 3070. So it's not the most powerful machine, but we're trying to have the best settings we can provide. Yes, we have finished the game. I have finished the game. My playstyle is really not really, main story. When I go to a place that the story is taking me, I also, do the surrounding activities and such. And that caused me to finish the main story and its epilogues in 60 hours. The devs mentioned it would be 40 hours. So you can expect like 50 hours as an average to finish the game. I don't even know if I can play 6 keys. You have to when you can, because gameplay wise this game is quite amazing, and we're gonna start the review from gameplay. So thank you for the segue. Actually, let's start from the I saw a question. Sebastian is asking, how would you rank it compared to the last games? So I would start the review by saying that if I had to put it to numbers, I would rank the game as an 8.5 or 85 out of 100. There are reasons for that number not being higher, and sadly that's because of the story. We're gonna get into that later. That's my opinion, obviously. But as we were mentioning, I just want to go through the more physical aspects, like tangible aspects, and I would like to start with gameplay, as we were discussing earlier. And I would say that the gameplay in this game is so good. Like, it's kind of addictive in a way, in that stealth and combat, Path of Secrets. Shall we go there? Alright. Sary has found a parkour trail.
It's not about assassins, no.
It might be about assassins. I'm not sure if we can show this. Yeah, it might be about assassins, so let's not. Anyway, as I was saying, like, gameplay is super addictive. Like, stealth and combat especially is they are, I think, one of the best features and systems in the game. Stealth especially, the devs said that that stealth in this game would have been revamped, and they were definitely not lying. Like, it's actually revamped in most ways. A lot of this has to do with the lighting system. We're gonna discuss that in the when we're discussing the world. But stealth in this game pushes you to change your approach to infiltrations, because you have different tools at your disposal, and it's not just the actual stealth tools that Naoe has. Of course, if we're talking about, playing and doing stealth as Naoe, you can do that as Yasuke as well, but he's going to be slow. He doesn't have the stealth tools. Any kind of assassination he does is like a brutal, in-your-face, screaming assassination that draws everybody towards you. So I'm talking about Naoe stealth, obviously. You're alive. We haven't talked about combat yet. We're gonna get into that later. In terms of stealth, as I was saying, the game is designed and built around stealth, at least for what concerns the infiltration and the black box missions. When you have to infiltrate a castle, it is designed for stealth. And you can tackle that also, like with combat and going through the main door as Yasuke. But the actual stealth systems, like the actual shadows and shades, allow you to be actually incognito while you're moving, when you're crouched or when you're going prone, as you can see, even now, as even during the day, if you are in the shade, the stealth meter at the top of the screen is reducing itself. And if it were night right now, you would be totally incognito. And only when guards are actually very close to you, they might see you. But at the same time, when they are close to you, in the shades, in the shadows, you also got your assassinate prompt, so you can assassinate them from the shadows, like literally, which means it changes your approach totally. Like it's more like you can consider the shadows as bushes, as hiding spots. They are definitely an additional hiding spot that changes because the moon is moving, so the shadows are also moving, and so you have to be very careful about what you're doing. Is the stealth better than Unity? Asks Sebastian. I would say yes, because you have the same tools that you have with Unity. So you can also use smoke bombs. You can perform double assassinations with the Tanto and Hidden Blade combo. There is a cover system, as you can see now. There are hiding spots like wells here. There are bushes. There are multiple types of assassinations that you can do. There are special assassinations tied to your weapons. So there is, the double assassination that is tied to the Tanto. There is the Shoji door assassination that is tied to your katana. And there's also the rush assassination that is tied to the Kusarigama. Hello, James. Welcome to the stream. And the rush assassination is not as in Odyssey. There's no magic involved in the game, like, at all. It is super rooted in history. Finally, I would say. Finally. And basically rush assassination with a Kusarigama. Basically, now it throws her Kusarigama to distant enemies, and then she jumps towards them and assassinates them. So it basically has the same effect as rush assassination in Odyssey, but grounded in reality, basically. Yes, double assassination is back. Do you think there will be update for hooded scene? Can you clarify the question? Maybe you're mentioning that if you're wearing hoods or headgear, those are not appearing in most of the cutscenes. I also found some bugs where you can also hide your headgear if you don't like it, but you want to keep its stats. And sometimes it happened to me that in cutscenes, I had my headgear hidden, and then it appeared in the cutscene, where usually headgear doesn't appear even if you have them equipped. But anyway, like I said, the lighting system is incredible. There are many stealth elements, and the stealth tools will also help you very much. and you can upgrade them through the progression system and the skill trees and whatnot. So the stealth tools will be very useful, especially the smoke bomb is always my favorite. You can change, you can upgrade the duration and the radius, I think, of the smoke bomb. You can also have your kunais, your throwing knives, and you can headshot enemies with those, so you can clear enemies or start clearing enemies before doing your actual infiltration. So yes, another element that is so intriguing about stealth is that the NPCs are a little smarter. Like as you asked, Sebastian. Careful, Sary. That was very risky. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, I feel like the NPCs and the enemies are a little smarter. If they spot you, sometimes or if they believe to have seen something, they might also call other enemies to go and look for you. Or if they see you and then they call enemies towards you, and then you vanish, then they might go and call more enemies to for the search patrol. So basically, even that adds to the stealth sessions, because having more enemies, if you're making a mistake, more enemies are going to be on the loose looking for you. So it adds to how tense these situations are. So it really is one of the most impressive elements of the game. And sticking to gameplay, let me see if you guys have any other questions. Does the story feels like Assassin's Creed? I'm gonna answer that later. The game is good, not say it's perfect but enjoyable. It's very good in my opinion. It is great, as James is saying. Yes, Nick is saying, Ikrik is saying, enemies are dumb if you hide on rooftops, but that's sort of by design if you're playing on normal difficulty. If you're playing on expert, they're actually going to look for you on the rooftops and they're going to see you. So I think there's a comparison video that was shown, not officially, but it's online. I think the real Zephyris shared it, which is really, really cool. Expert mode is a different ball game, as James is saying. So yeah. Like I said, stealth is quite amazing. Every time the game prompted me to choose whether to infiltrate or do a black box mission as Naoe and Yasuke, it was a no-brainer. It was just Naoe every time. And to be honest, I choose like the narrative choices that brought me to let me rephrase it. Like, I played on canon mode. Obviously, I wanted to see the actual real story, no narrative choices at all. But at times, the game still tells you, hey, you want to play as Naoe or Yasuke for this phase of the black box mission, or for this other session or section of the black box mission. And every time I did choose Naoe, because I really wanted to try the infiltrations, like how they were designed, what you could do, and all that. But that's not to say, because the story, the main story, in the main story you can play as any of the two characters. When the game tells you, is it slowing down?
Seems so.
Okay. Oh, we're having some performing issues here. That's weird. Shall we tone it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should tone it down a little bit. How
do I?
It's options. Then scalability with R2. No. And then yes, let's go with very high. See if it works. Apply. Restart now. Let's see. It's not on the game. This is on our. Oh, okay. So the game has to run properly. So black screen. It's not of that. But as I was saying, we're gonna start from the Animus Hub, I think. So we're gonna see that as well. But yeah, so as I was saying, there are, even in the main path and not just in the specific missions designed for each of the characters, there are some story arcs that make more sense if you play them as Yasuke. So I did play some of those sections if it made more sense to play it as Yasuke. Still slowing down a little bit. Let's see. But yeah, Yasuke himself, really, like, when I did play in the previews and even before that, it did feel like the game was designed for Naoe mostly. But like after playing a number of hours, I did feel like playing with Yasuke has that meaning to it all, and it also has a story meaning that is mostly explained towards the end of the game, more like that. But it is interesting to play as him as well. I thought I would play as Yasuke only to solve issues when I can't do a mission because it's too tough for Naoe. But instead, I did feel the intention to play as Yasuke as well. Maybe not for exploration, because like for exploration he's too slow. But really, there are. It is so fun to play as Yasuke, especially in the combat sessions. And let's jump into the combat section of this review, because it's so even combat like stealth is revamped, and in a way that to me it feels much better than in the previous games, than in Valhalla, than in every other Assassin's Creed game. Like, combat here is revamped once again, but this time there's multiple weapons, and these weapons, they do change a lot your approach to situations and to combat. I'll go back to. I'm seeing questions piling up in the stream, but yeah, let me just finish on combat, and then I'll get back to all your questions. Like, combat feels great. I feel like it's better than in most of the other games, also Valhalla, because it's simple enough to understand, but it takes you some more time to master all the specifics of each weapon, both for Naoe and.
Do you want me to fight a bit?
Yeah, you could have some combat both with Naoe and Yasuke. You can fight as Naoe. We can show the shinobi fighting techniques. And we have different weapons. You can have two weapons at any time. In this case, we're having the Kusarigama, that is our chain sight weapon, and it's what they call a crowd control weapon. As in, with this weapon, you can hit multiple enemies at the same time. Sary is able to do this technique when you can reel in your enemy with the Kusarigama. I am not able to do that, even if it says how to do that. And then you can shift your weapon with the right. Sorry, what happened? Oh, with the right direction on the D-pad. And in this case, we have the Tanto, and the. Can we switch to the Tanto? And with the Tanto, it's more like a Hidden Blade and Tanto combat. It's super fast, but you also you cause a lot of reduced damage, but you hit multiple times. So it's like a hit and run kind of style. which is quite amazing, especially if you're using a Tanto that has the bleed affliction, the bleed effect. So that causes additional damage while you're doing multiple hits, which is quite amazing. So as you can see, you have to hit a few more times. This is because Naoe is causes, of course, less damage than Yasuke. But as you can see, you can cause enemies to be more vulnerable, like get into the vulnerable state if you're dodging their attacks when you are Naoe, and that also happens with Yasuke. And you can also cause them to go into the vulnerable state if you have a perfect parry. This is the combat with Naoe. She also has a katana. That's your regular sword combat. And like I said, different weapons cause you to have different approaches in your combat sessions. I suggest you to get out of the red zone, otherwise you cannot.
I wanted to use the katana.
Oh, you wanted to use the katana. Can you switch to that? I think so. It's up.
This one?
There we go. Yes.
This one is okay?
Yeah, sure. I think. Yeah, you have to get out and get to the. They're throwing stuff. You have to switch the weapon because this is, and there is the katana. As you can see, a little slower than the Tanto and Hidden Blade combo, which is very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed 3, by the way. And yeah, so while Sary is showing you some more combat with the katana, and then as Yasuke, I'm gonna try and answer some of your question. Feel free to also rewrite them if I'm not seeing them. I already saw proper assassin robes for now. Is there anything like that for Yasuke? Like a white robes armor combination? No. And there's a reason for that. There's a story reason for that. So there's a reason why now it has proper assassin robes, and there's a reason why Yasuke does not have assassin robes. There are outfits that are grayish, white-ish for Yasuke, but they're not assassin related. Let's say that. Hello, Zephyrus. Welcome to the stream. I did mention you earlier. Thank you so much for the huge work you're doing in sharing all the news like every day like that. It's quite incredible and quite impressive, by the way. Sebastian, does it affect the story if you stick to one character most of the game? I would say no, especially if you're playing in canon mode. Oh, this is this is the one of the cutscenes that play out when seasons are changing, and seasons, like each season, it is divided in half. There, in order to show the change of the season within the season, right? So, autumn has 2 parts. It's not like the hook blade, but it still has 2 parts. Winter has 2 parts, etc., etc. So, there we are. Here we are as Yasuke. As you can see, much more damage dealt, like immediately. The abilities are obviously more oriented towards, towards damage and health as well. I prefer more of the assassin gameplay. I definitely play as her more. It's what I did, actually, to be honest, and it doesn't affect the story as you guys asked earlier, especially if you're playing in canon mode, because canon mode both chooses the character. Well, no, it doesn't choose the character, but it chooses the answers that you're going to provide. I don't think it affects, because like the main story missions, you can approach them as any character, right? So, for example, you did see the quest that was shown in the previews, the Rengakai, the poetry ceremony one. You can start that as Naoe or Yasuke, and the cutscenes change based if you're Naoe or Yasuke. but the story does not change. Like the story is that one, it's fixed. It doesn't have multiple endings, or at least in canon mode, it doesn't have multiple endings. I might imagine there might be some different endings in normal mode or non-canon mode. But yeah, in canon mode, only one ending plus 3 epilogues. So yeah. James is saying, playing as Naoi is honestly one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had. Stealth is so much fun, but her melee, because she is fragile, is challenging and very satisfying to learn to get right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Legacy outfits are confirmed. I'm not too sure. They're not in the main game. As far as I know, they're not in the main game. I would imagine the... Oh, hello, photo mode.
I don't know what I did.
You pressed... Oh, photo mode is in the game. It was promoted even recently. It's not the huge change that I expected, but there are some changes to photo mode as well. You cannot change the time of day. It's not as the photo mode in Ghost of Tsushima. Let's put it like that. Or in Horizon Zero Dawn, for sure. But still, the game compensates with that with huge and amazing sceneries. So you can have a lot of opportunities for your pictures. Is there any kind of legacy outfit? Yeah, like I said, not in the main game, but it might come with post-launch. I'll say one thing about the UI. I wish we could keep the compass, but move it nearer the edge of the screen to make it smaller. Yeah, the UI is quite similar to Valhalla and Odyssey, at least when you're playing. And the investigation, we're going to discuss that later when we discuss the world, but the investigation is similar to Odyssey, more realistic, but then on the long run it can be a little tedious. But anyway, yeah, the UI looks a lot like Valhalla. How would you compare the story to Mirage or Valhalla? We're going to get into that later. That's my answer for now, without spoiling. But yeah, my reaction is any improvements to photo mode. Maybe we can show photo mode. Let's get outside and you can trigger photo mode with the 2 sticks. I mean, you can trigger it at any time, even now.
Yeah, they're dead anyway. So.
Yeah. So photo mode is organized like this. Now you can roll the camera. It's taking much more time because you can roll the camera and it shows like every single degree, and you have to keep the button pushed if you want to like turn it like 90 degrees. Then there is focal length, is basically your zoom. I mean, you can move the camera wherever you want, but if you want to like zoom out from where you are, there's not so much that you can do. But like if you want to go backwards like this, there's only a few millimeters that you can do. But then you can actually zoom in very much, or you can move out with the camera. Then there are cycle grids. These are like in the previous games. Then with R1 we can move to the other sections. So there's depth of field. You can turn it on to have the. Can you turn it on, please? So with the aperture, it's like a camera really. Like it says like the aperture. It changes how. It changes the focus basically in the front and in the back. You can change the focal distance, so it's more technical if you wish. There's autofocus, and if you go down there are more options. Grain if you'd like, and that's it. Okay, then you have FX filters. These are the cool ones. I don't use them in photo mode, but they are very cool, like very Kurosawa style if you'd like. Then there are other filters like cold, sakura, contrasted, etc. you can change the brightness, exposure, usual features that you see, that you saw from the past photo modes. And then there are decorations like the vignette, if you'd like, the frames. You can have different frames, whatever you like, with the logos also, I think. Can we scroll down? There's stickers, there's logos, whatever. Sticker axes, because you can also, extend them if you'd like. You can rotate them, you can change the scale and whatnot. But the more tangible changes that I wanted for photo mode are not here yet. I wanted time of day. I wanted to change the expression of the characters. I wanted to... Ghost of Tsushima, it did spoil me in that regard. I wanted to change the particles moving. Anyway. So, what else? Did Ubisoft abandon Basim for the modern day story? We're gonna slightly touch upon the modern day story and what's left of it. Just enter. Someone said something about present day story. We're gonna discuss it later, Manuel. But thanks for joining us. There is a little bit at the start, like Animus Sigo, okay, and also at various stages of the game. But yes. Happy that Shadows got great reviews. Disappointed about the story, yet my expectations were already low with Quebec. We're gonna discuss that later. Okay. 6 keys, yes, and what's left of it. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm gonna get into that later.
How many things we're going to go do later?
Yeah, basically it's the story, because everybody is asking about the story. Anyway. Parkour. Parkour is functional. So when I played the preview, the preview build that I played in Quebec, it felt quite nice. If you're doing parkour as now, it is super fast. You're going in the right direction where you want, say for a few occasions. If Yasuke is not able to open the door, he can just go through it, right? So, of course. What's the P word? Oh, parkour. Okay, so, yeah. Parkour is functional. In that it is really fast. And if you master it, it's cool to look at as well. But don't expect Unity levels. Now it's more like beating a dead horse, comparing the recent RPG games, the parkour in the recent RPG games to the parkour in Unity. It's not gonna be that. As you can see, now it is super fast. You can jump from point to point, and when you use, as you can see, there's a lot of cool animation. Like if you are using the control descent at specific heights, now it will do like a roll like this, instead of just jumping down. So there are, as you might have seen in the promotional material by Ubisoft, there are a lot of different moves that you can do with parkour. There are backward flips. There's control, like standard control descent. There's like rolls while you're running, like if you are like this. So there's a set of moves for parkour and navigation, but it doesn't have all like the whole move set that Unity and Syndicate had. There is a form of back eject, but usually it doesn't work that much between buildings. There's no side eject. There are no parkour ingredients, as far as I remember. So it has its moves that you need to master because they can be also useful in stealth. But it's like this is not a game designed for parkour. I would say Mirage. It's kind of obvious, but like Mirage was way more designed for parkour because there were like it was more like a vertical city rather than a horizontal world like Japan is, and probably also because of the architecture that Japan had. This translates in a design of the world that is mostly one floor or one story. So you're just going on the roofs, and then you get to use your hook, but only at specific staged moments or during infiltrations. There are some. You can use the hook to get to the roofs. Sure, you can also use the grappling hook to swing, but you don't get to swing that much in the game, to be honest. It's only in castles and in the parkour routes, so not really that much. Hello, dears. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. So so really, it is functional. It is. I wouldn't say, yeah, it is fun to use when you're moving from point A to point B, but it's not fun per se. Like it's functional when you have to get to a destination. It can be fun as well, but it's not fun per se. Like if you want to have to go and do parkour for the sake of doing parkour instead of for the sake of going to a different direction, then I don't think this is the game to do that. Like Mirage with the patches is much better for parkour for sure. Then I'm saving story for last. More questions. I'm interested about what's going to be on Ubisoft Connect for this game. I expect the pre-order quest and some outfits. So I honestly don't know. As far as I know, we should have been. We should have tried that, but it wasn't in the online features that we were able to review. They were not in that. Like we had the Animus Hub. Every feature of the Animus Hub was available when we were reviewing the game. What else? So we did try also the projects and the modern day daily missions and whatnot. The exchange feature of the Animus Hub was also available with the items that you can get with the keys and whatnot. But the Ubisoft Connect online features were not. As far as I know, they are still not available, the challenges and the rewards. So I'm not quite sure if the legacy outfits are in there, which ones are available. They might be made available in the coming hours, and surely they will be available at launch, hopefully. Does the game feel polished? Yes. We are going to... Maybe we can get into the world. What's happening? Orpha... Oh, Orpha is in a... Hello, Orpha. Welcome to the stream. Would you say the parkour is better than Black Flag or AC3? Nah, because AC4 and Black Flag, enemies can be sleeping, right? Because it's night, so they might be sleeping, and the way enemies behave changes also based on both of time of day. Some might be sleeping, but also based on the season. If it's cold, they're gonna gather around the fire, so you might need to use smoke bomb to take care of all of them, or if it's raining, they might go under the roofs. So what you can do is drop yourself and hold to the roof, so you can assassinate them underneath if they are hiding underneath. As you can see, you can also break the light sources not only the ones that you can break through by using kunais or the throwing stars, but also you can break braziers and whatnot with your weapons or just running into them. And as you can see, if you're hiding in the shadow, like you're not in a hiding spot, but the stealth meter says that you are incognito. So now you are in the light, now you are in the shadows, and if you are in the shadows, you are incognito. So you can make use of that, very much so. And now it gets under a light, you cannot destroy those. I think you can throw shuriken, but it's gonna stick. So now you are very seen. You can be seen here, but you can do a cover assassination. So the game is really polished. To answer 6K's question, it's polished in the details. It's polished if you're playing like with high quality settings. I think I found the game froze only once on PC. I think it was on PC. Oh, that's Sary is pointing me to one of the Samurai Daisho. Basically, every castle has these enemies. They are tougher enemies that you can also assassinate if you are equipped enough. Let's see if you can. You can't reach them from here. And basically, if you eliminate all the Samurai Daisho in a castle, you will get access to a legendary key that is hidden in the castle that has... to a legendary chest that is hidden in the castle, and in there you're gonna find a legendary weapon or item and also a legendary perk. So yeah. How is the day and night cycle? It's long enough, I'm gonna say. Sometimes when you need it to be day or night, it can feel even too long. Like if I want to take a picture of my equipment, of my outfit, I want it in a day. There you go. You can assassinate them. There we go. And you also have to loot them because sometimes they have a lot of either money or nice equipment. And like I said, I want to take a picture in the day. I will have to wait for a long time. So that was a nice idea. Sometimes if I for example, if I want like the daylight in my hideout, I go to a castle, do the assassinate the Samurai Daisho, wait for it to become day, and then go back to the hideout, because you cannot shift the day and night cycle, which is something that I really didn't like. I think it's probably due to technical reasons for sure, because you don't remove such a useful option. As you can see, at least in castles, the day and night, it seems like it's shifting faster. There you go. Double assassination when there are a lot of enemies. There you go. Look at that. Oh, that was cool. You assassinated 5 of them with a smoke bomb. So yeah. So yeah, back to your question. The game is super polished. The game froze only once for me in 60 hours. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think it was the game, because it brought me back to the desktop while I was playing on PC. Actually, no, it was on Xbox. So yeah, but it was once in 60 hours, so it's really stable. Actually, can we go out in the world?
Out where?
Wherever, like in cities and outside, wandering. Yeah. So we can see and show how the game is, how polished the game is. And actually, I think one of the strongest points outside of gameplay for this game is actually the world. Sorry if this is vague, asked Ironbot. Do the cities feel nice to wander around? I think, yeah, they are fun to wander around, but there's not a lot of people and NPCs in the cities. Like, this is, I think it's a major issue in the cities, because maybe they didn't add a lot of NPCs because social stealth is not in the game, but still, oh, look at that. Like that rolling jump that was super cool with like low objects. That was really cool. As you can see, there's not a lot of people. That makes the cities less lively, but the attention to detail in the world itself is astounding. Yeah, the one criticism. Look at this. Like everywhere you go, there's a photo mode opportunity, and the cities and the locations, they feel so different from each other. Like if this is nothing like Odyssey, especially where a lot of locations, even just outposts and whatnot, they felt so copy pasted. In this case, I didn't feel anything to be.
That was not the idea.
You wanted to.
I wanted to pet the.
You wanted to pet the puppy.
Yeah.
But we can't now. He's running away. You made a puppy run away.
Let's hide.
Are you gonna hide?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Scava. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, they are nice to wander in, to look. The cities are nice to wander in, to look at the city and the landmarks themselves. But not. The only issue for that is basically the NPCs. There are very in small number, but the various locations in the world, they are quite amazing. Daniel is asking to show the full map. Can we show the full map? So this is a 15 hours save. So as you can see, a lot of the map is still covered. It's not the whole of Japan, but because it's almost as a 1-to-1 scale, or it's 1-to-1 scale. So if it were the whole of Japan, this would be crazy enormous. And I also like it was quite the task to take care of, like to try and play and finish the whole game, let alone cover the whole of the map. Sixky said, "You scared the puppy, commit Sudoku immediately." I mean, Sixky is very kind, not to ask for seppuku. This is one of the origami butterfly that you have to look for in a quest in Osaka. Social stealth is not in the game, no. Can I move here? Or am I moving you? Okay. Because I think I saw a question by Rai Eduhar about remapping buttons. Can you rewrite it in the chat so we can go back to that? Are we in the 22nd century now? What happens? I missed the chat. Can you just say if it's a list addressed at all? What were you mentioning, Yara? Can you please remind me? Oh my god, the temples and pagodas are stunning. Yes, James, I definitely agree. Maybe we can move to a temple or a pagoda. Let me see. Do we have a temple that we can teleport to? There? What's this one? Oh, this is a castle. Oh, this is a destroyed temple that is part of the story. So no. This is a castle. This is also a castle. Path of Valor. That's a parkour path. These are ruins of a temple. Can you go up? Around here. Yes, we could go to
Here?
Yeah, to Tokufuji Temple or to Toshi Temple. These are temples around Kyoto, so there's a lot of temples that we can have a look at. Sudoku. On 5-day sick leave, on peds, so time for Grand Shadows. Yes, definitely. How many cities are there? If you count them as cities, I'm gonna say 3, maybe? Like huge cities. There's Osaka. There's Kyoto. There might be a third one that I might have not visited. I remember the reviews earlier, they mentioned 2 to 3 main cities. I did see Osaka and Kyoto. We're seeing Kyoto in the autumn right now. Sary is going into a temple. Look at the pagodas and temple. Sary provided me with another chat. Okay, so I can see the question by Rai Eduhar. Can you please check if it's possible to remap sprinting to the right trigger? And can you change it from toggle to hold? Okay, let's check. I definitely don't remember. So let's go to System Options. Then Controls. Customize Controls. Yeah, it seems so. Can you click on
what?
on move forward here? See, you can.
What did I do?
Yeah, then you're gonna reset it, but you can remap the move forward with L3 or with the right trigger as well. And I think you can also change it to toggle. See, you can sprint, you can change to toggle. Can we go to sprint? So, see, you can change it to hold, to toggle, and to L3. And can you press this? You can also change it to, should be R3, maybe, I think. There we go. So you can do that, and also to hold or to toggle. So yes, you can do that. Sary is resetting it, otherwise we're not gonna be able to stream. Thank you so much, Rai Eduhar, for the gift. Thank you so much. I really enjoy your videos about all the hidden and cut features about the various games. I can't wait to see what you're going to share about Shadows when the time comes. Sakai is in the game. Look at this. I think you can also hear the sound of the wind. I'm not sure if the audio is a little low, but yeah, you can see the world is beautiful. You can go look at this. Like, dust is moving, the leaves are moving. They are also moving from the trees. There are temples, not only ruined temples. There are also, fully active temples with gardens behind them. You can go inside of them. Sometimes there are shrines that you can also have activities in there. You can pray at shrines. There's a lot of non-violent activities that are very respectful of the culture, in my opinion. There are different, let's say, districts in the game. He doesn't want to be pet, and you made him run. But this time you didn't do anything.
They know I'm a vet.
They know you're a vet. That makes sense. Yes, Sakai is in the game. Now Sakai is just a port that is part of Osaka, but at this point, this is a shrine you cannot pray to. But there are also, a lot of shrines, even outside of cities. Look at this. This is friggin' amazing. I'm so happy that we are seeing it, because you cannot trigger it. Like, this happens naturally in the world. It can be windy, it can be sunny. If I'm not mistaken, there's 19 different weather states. It can also change based on the season. So in autumn, it might be more windy. There's going to be snow in the winter and whatnot. Orpha, are the collectibles cool, Lord Dark Marvin? Depending what you mean by collectibles. There's not a lot of collectibles in the game, now that you mention it. There's loot, and loot is a toned down version of Odyssey. You could call it like that, in that there can be repetitions of the same item, but not tens of versions of the same items. That's for sure. So you can expect. Thank you, James, for joining us. So collectibles. There are things that you have to collect because of quests, but it's not like there are collectibles per se, if I recall correctly. Like you have a bag with items, valuables that you sell at vendors. There's no set of collectibles to find other than if they might be tied to quests. Like there is a quest, like we saw, there are origami butterflies scattered across Osaka. You find them, you get to the quest giver, and they're gonna give you a reward. But there's no actual collectible, if I think of that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think there are actual collectibles like the cockades in Unity, for example. There are activities to do, sure, but not a lot of collectibles. And to be honest, I didn't feel I didn't miss them. Like I never in 60 hours I thought, hey, what if we had some collectibles here, right? Like the world is so huge. What's that? Like oh, look. Sary is suggesting to look at the cloth physics when the wind is moving. It's so amazing because it's not just moving when you are moving. Like if there's wind, it's moving following the wind. And look at the game looks amazing even if it's not on ultra settings. Man, are there Easter eggs? I haven't found many, but I haven't explored the game properly. So, there was a character called Hokuto, so it might have been a reference to Hokuto no Ken, the manga. But I'm not too sure about Easter eggs. Funny thing that most don't know that the infamous clip. Which clip? As a longtime fan, can you tell me what they did about all the lore from memories?
Come on, it's time.
Is it time?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the world progression, the seasons.
They want to know about the story.
You guys want to know about the story. Alright. Alright. Oh man.
Come on.
So should I talk about the story and then we go into the other aspects? Even Sary is telling me, like, let's go to the story. Finally.
Story.
Okay, so much to talk about. Alright, so the story. Because, like, overall, like I said, my rating to the game would be 85-ish. Because most of the aspects are really top-notch. And it's losing 15 points or 1.5 because of the story, and because I'm a hardcore fan. Let's not deny that. Because if I weren't a fan, I would probably rate it 87 or 90 even. But the problem of the story is, well, there are a number of problems with the story, especially for fans, for AC fans. So many enemies. Where to start? So the game.
Come on.
I'm trying to. So the game has like you have a set of targets. So there's the game has this the story structure is basically like this. There's a prologue. There is a gathering moment where Naoi and Yasuke meet again. There's a prologue. There are some missions that you have with the first targets where you play only as Naoi. And then stuff happens. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but stuff happens, and Naoi and Yasuke meet again, and they decide to form this league, this Ikki in Japanese. It's going to be called the Kakushiba Ikki, which means the League of the Blade. But at this point, none of them knows about Assassins or Templars. The prologue has some hints here and there, and it's just by chance that they call it like this. And also, there's also a narrative issue connected to that, but I'm going to discuss that in an analysis because that also interconnects with the prologue. But anyway, the prologue, the characters gather. And then there's hunting the various targets. Hunting the various targets, they're called the Shinbakufu or the Onryo. Basically, it means the demons or the New World Order. Shinbakufu means the New World Order, something like that. But that was risky. But the targets. The members of the Shinbakufu, they are not Templars, and our main characters are not assassins. So there's the usual issue that Odyssey had, that Valhalla had, and that Shadows has, where basically we are character coming from the world. As now, we are doing assassiny things. We are performing assassiny things, but we're not proper assassins. In the prologue, there's we have seen in the cutscenes, Naoi's father gives her the hidden blade, but she's never introduced at the start of the game. At least she's never introduced to the Brotherhood, to the assassins. So there's no introduction to there's no ceremony, there's no nothing. And the main issue to me is that like I said, there's like prologue, blah, 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 blah. There's the hunt for the targets. And then at the end, when you hunt the 12th target, you get to see who's the leader of the bunch. Then there are epilogues. There's an epilogue for Naoi, there's an epilogue for Yasuke, and there's a third epilogue. This is in canon mode. But the thing is, throughout all of this, there are assassins related and Templar related missions and quests, but they're not in the main path. They are supposedly optional, in that you can not do them for the majority of the game. And then, at least through canon mode, it felt like for the epilogues, they were necessary, as in the epilogue took care. It did mention something that happened in the assassin and Templar related quests. So basically, I think they are optional for the majority of the game. For 90% of the game, the assassin and Templar stuff is optional, feels optional, and then it might be mandatory or like part of the main path for the epilogues. So basically, what it felt playing in canon mode for me was that there are hints about the assassins in the prologue. Nothing. Then optional quests for the assassins, where Naoe finds out stuff about her mother and about she actually finds out about the Brotherhood towards the end of the epilogue. So it's more like she finds out that there's this group of people that does stuff. There are 2 assassin tombs, and there are 4 assassin locations to find. How do you the turnaround you cannot do? Sorry, we're gonna be back on the backlash on this very soon, but you cannot do the turnaround when you go to a viewpoint. It only automatically does the turnaround once.
It didn't do it.
It didn't? And this is a new one? Then you have to go down and then you trigger it again. Okay. So try and go down. Try and go up again. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, it is one story with one ending. It's not 3 endings. It's 3 epilogues. As in, there is an epilogue for Naoe's story, there's an epilogue for Yasuke's story, and there's an epilogue for the League story. So they are all canon, and it's not alternative. Like you do one and then the other and then the other, in the order that you prefer. But yeah. Like I said, those 15 points in my review are basically because the main story, the main targets, the story is delivered well. Like, the cinematics are incredible. They are amazing. I think these are the best cinematic work since, I don't know which game, maybe Unity, or I don't know. Like, this is so good. There are a lot of historical characters. Like, Oda Nobunaga is portrayed so well. It's amazing. Maybe a little too positive on him at times. And many other historical characters are in the game, like in every Assassin's Creed game. But yeah, like the lore part is where the game has so many issues. Like, the Assassin and Templar stories are very much they felt optional for the majority of the game, and then they are needed for the epilogue. Like, the optional stuff for Naoe is needed to complete the epilogue for Naoe. The optional stuff for Yasuke that is connected to the Templars is needed to complete the epilogue for Yasuke. I wonder if you're hearing canon. Our dog is screaming outside. Oh. Anyway, look at that. Oh, you found a Kofun. This is one of the tombs that you can find in the game.
Can I go inside?
Sure you can. I don't think it's spoiler. No, I don't think it's a spoiler one. How do romances fit if none of them are canon? Well, this is interesting because it's still part of the story. And then we're gonna go... Canon is screaming for the canon plotline. Oh, that was good. That was good, Nick. How do romances fit if none of them are canon? That is interesting because... in fact, when I played, I didn't experience any romance, but sometimes in canon mode, when you get to the end of a main target mission, oh my god, sorry. When you get to the end of a main target mission, sometimes the payoff doesn't feel proper because this is canon, right? I'm not too sure how to explain it. So there is one of the main target missions that involves a lady that is a relative of Oda Nobunaga that the Yasuke knows pretty well. I'm gonna play while Sary is moving away. Let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. So, oh my God, we're going in the coffin. Okay, so there is a like I said, there are some quests. Oh, thank you for the water. There are some. There is a quest, a main target quest that I played mostly as Yasuke because it's about a relative to Oda Nobunaga that is a lady that Yasuke knows from his time in Nobunaga's court, and basically the various dialogues, they feel like they're getting closer, and basically you do the mission and you get to the end, and there's an epilogue, a small epilogue when you get to talk to her after the main event happened, and you get to talk to her, and he says, he goes to her at the end of the mission, and she says, Yasuke, you had something to tell me? And and it's so abrupt. He says something like, yeah, I wanted to, I don't know, thank you, or to say goodbye, or to say hi, goodbye, something like that. It ends so abruptly that it does feel like the end of a romance had to be there, or the payoff to the romance had to be there. And when you're playing as canon mode, the bad ending to romances, they feel like bad payoffs to the canon story, but it's just because of the romances, so it's not huge. It's not a big issue. It doesn't change the story in any way. What changes the gameplay when you are in what changes the gameplay in terms of story when you're playing in canon mode is the allies, because as you might know, there are allies that you can call in the game to help you, much like in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and in Assassin's Creed 3 especially. But in canon mode, some of those allies are actually going to die and you cannot use them. So there is a trade-off to playing canon mode as well in terms of gameplay. So you know what you're getting into. Like, not all allies are going to be available at the end of the game. There is one main villain for the story. Yes, there is. You could say there is a the leader of the targets of the Shinbaku. He is the one main baddie. But then in the epilogues, okay, I'm not gonna say more. But yeah. So, one more thing about the story. So it felt, like I said, it felt like the Assassins and Templars. The Assassin and Templar stories, they felt very bare bone, especially the Assassini story. Also because now it will go on a quest to find some assassin locations, and I expected them to be either tombs or abandoned hideouts or bureaus, and they're actually just stalls. Like, there's just like a stall with an assassin logo and a letter to read. So it's really, really bare bone, the Assassini part of the game. And then the Templar related story that you play as Yasuke, when you're, I'm not gonna spoil it, but the Templar-related story is more cinematic. There are more set pieces. It's more interesting, even albeit very short, but still compared to the main target, etc. But yeah. And finally, another nail in the coffin is the modern day. Some of you guys asked about modern day earlier. If the assassin-related story is bare bone, the modern day one is non-existent. Basically, it is there. It's sort of there. I mean, if we are talking about technicalities, it's kind of there. I'm not talking about the modern day story in the Animus Hub, or rather, let's put it like this. So, when you start the game, you start in the Animus Hub, and you start the Animus Hub with an introduction video. There's an introduction video to the new Animus. It's called Animus Ego. We didn't share it in the video that we shared today because it's still sort of like spoiler, but it's usual Abstergo trying to sell you something that is not what they're doing. In this case, it's like a wellness kind of Animus, while of course behind the scenes they're doing stuff. So there's that introduction. And then there are, in the prologue, there are some cutscenes by an external voice that is telling you stuff about Naoi and Yasuke's memories. They are fractured and you have to gather them and whatnot. Then there are the daily quests. Actually, they are weekly. I thought they were daily, but they are weekly, at least the ones that we tested. So basically, in the Animus Hub, there are what they call projects, which are the battle passes. And in order to unlock the rewards and the modern day files, you have to complete these. Are they called Animus Rifts, or which are basically the daily missions, the daily or weekly missions that you have to complete, and basically these present themselves in the world in Japan as fractures, as in the view of the world is destabilized. There are glitches and stuff. And they are basic missions like kill that character or fulfill. There is in the game there is a quest with a tournament arena, and so one of the modern day daily missions was also go in the arena and do a mission like that and like kill a few targets in there, or steal something like that. And these daily quests or weekly quests, there's no story to them. You just have to kill targets. You get with that you get the currency to unlock the modern day files in the Animus Hub. And then there are what they call the Animus Anomalies. It's not a tournament arena like in Odyssey or like that, or Origins. Those were really good. This is just a quest with 4 enemies to beat, and then it's over, and then you cannot replay it, as far as I know. So it's a tournament arena quest, and then it's over. And then there is this Animus Rift mission that allows you to go back there and kill a few more targets. But other than that, like I said, there are what they call the Animus Anomalies. There are definitely nothing like the Animus Anomalies in Valhalla. Basically, with your character, you get into a rift, kind of like into a portal, into an Animus portal, and it gets you in the in the memory corridor, and then this voice that you saw at the start of the game, they're gonna tell you more stuff. Not about the modern day. They're gonna tell you more stuff about the Assassins and Templars. So there's that. So there's not a lot of modern day in there. And the final Animus Anomaly is what is going to wrap up the modern day in Shadows, and it's weird to say the least, for now at least. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's going to be. It was very weird. Through the missions, I did unlock a few files in the Animus Hub, like text files, and those are actually about what is happening outside in the world in the modern day. But it's I just unlocked the files that you could see already in the Animus Hub trailer. So I was able to read them completely, but that was that. Who's the voice? The voice has a name, has a general name. It's not a person name. It's a sort of like not a robotic voice, but a very it's a voice with no feelings. Feels like it's an AI of sorts. I'm not too sure yet, but it does feel like it's an AI rather than you can imagine it. It has a function like that of I was saying like that of Subject 16, but Subject 16 was an AI based on a person. So it talked to you, it had thoughts, etc. This is way more AI-like. It's like an AI within the Animus. I wouldn't know yet, but yes. Similar to the Animus voice, like you said, Budgie. But no, it's not an Isu. There's... Alright, I'm not too sure whether to spoil this or not, but it's not a spoiler about something that is in the game, but it's more a spoiler about something that is not in the game. So there is nothing related to the Isu in the game. I hope that's not a spoiler. It's more like a warning, if you'd like to consider it that, or a warning not to get your hopes up about the first civilization in this game. Like, none at all. So it's not a spoiler about what is in the game, but it's more like, don't expect any Isu to talk to you about, any piece of Eden to appear in the game. Nothing like that. There are hints about stuff that you might think they are, but they are not shown. So they're... yeah, I would say based on what is shown and told in the game, there are no pieces of Eden in the game. There is no reason, or almost no reason, to believe there are even pieces of Eden in the game. So yeah, it's amazing that it's super grounded in history, which means also there's no mythology crap, no mythology at all. There's mythology as it was treated in the main game of Assassin's Creed Origins, as in people in the game, the NPCs, or also, the main characters, they are talking about their beliefs in the Japanese gods, and in the Japanese monsters in the yokai, in the Japanese monsters of the Japan tradition and lore. But there are only, like, people are talking about those, but there's no section where you are playing as the god, like the Amaterasu or any other Japanese god. So it's really... Are we slowing down again? A little bit, maybe? It's really grounded in history, it's totally grounded in history, which means it doesn't have first civ and it doesn't have mythology. Make of that what you want. I'm not super impressed by that. I'm happy that the game is grounded. The mythology is not there. There's no mythology veil. Thankfully, I had everything that I didn't even need for Valhalla. So thankfully it's not here, but yeah. And by saying that there is no issue that I know of, at least, or that I recognize in the game or in the Animus Hub that I know of. And no Pieces of Eden, you can also expect no Basim story to be in the game, or no continuation of the ending of Valhalla, and whatnot. We're talking about the main story, of course, DLCs and whatnot. They did say that the modern day is going to be continued, especially in post-launch, so we'll see about that if anything happens in the game. It feels like they wanted to get the game out, and then modern day it comes as not a priority, and I don't know, it to me at least. But then again, I don't know, maybe this is the plan for the Animus Hub, to be more like a consistent presence rather than being rather than having the modern day and first civ part of the main games. But to me, an Assassin's Creed experience and an Assassin's Creed game is a story with assassins and Templars and the first civ. Maybe not as usual with the usual MacGuffin that ends up the same way, but they have to be there one way or another. It's still an Assassin's Creed gameplay experience, very much so. Like, stealth is there. It's so cool. Combat, exploration, they are top notch for sure. What happened?
What do I have to do here?
You have to use L2 to these are the codex entries. That they are basically the historical part of Shadows. So basically, when you find these floating lights, they feel like they are modern day stuff or animal stuff, but they're not. They are the codex. And in the codex, all the entries are written in a cold, explanatory way. So there's no Sean writing the entries. There's no Basim writing the entries. Like nothing like that. We are petting dogs finally. But yeah, so they're saving all the Isu content for the MTX packs. To be honest, for now, the packs in the store, they are more like mythological, like they are samurai with fire from their outfits, or they're not Isu like. They are more like mythological kind of stuff, mythical. Did you play in English or immersive? I did play in English because I wanted to consume the story as it was intended, with the actual writing of the writers, by the writers. Thankfully, Ikrik did play in immersive. As he said, it was a joy. Maybe in the coming streams we could play in immersive. That would be amazing, because I did see some videos and they are so cool, because the Portuguese characters, they speak in Portuguese while the Japanese speak in Japanese, so it's not Japanese only. And I did I did really enjoy playing Ghost of Tsushima in full Japanese, and it was friggin' amazing. So I can imagine this game to feel friggin' amazing as well. And to be honest, I did try to compare this game to Ghost, and honestly, it does feel more realistic. It does feel the world feels way more realistic. In Ghost, a lot of the colors are really boosted. so much. Like sometimes there are woods that are so yellow, like the leaves are yellow. There is so much in your face. Sometimes the colors are really boosted too much. The world is much more realistic. The graphics also are really good, really good. Look at this. Like when it rains, it darkens properly. There are pools of water all around. There, like you're leaving traces while you're walking. You are actually walking in the mud. Like your traces are actually deep in the mud, as you can see. When it's and the same goes when it's snowing. Saturated. Thank you, Budgie. I was looking for that word. And yeah, I did see that in immersive the voice sync is not there. I think because also because the speech of the character, like the way they move their mouth, is in English. I think it might be the case. What's that? Okay. So yeah. Quite sad about the story. The main story with the characters, it's interesting. Sometimes I had issues with that as well. In some places where it's tough to remember how the stories, like how the quests connect to each other. I've talked to a few other community members and creators, and they did feel the same. As in, sometimes either you don't remember or the game does not tell you how you got the clues to start that game. Sometimes it just says, hey, one of your spies found out about this target, you have to start your quest there. It doesn't say you have to start your quest there, but like I said, there are phases in the story, and in these phases there are characters that tell you where you should find your next targets. But at the same time, some of the targets are not really, some of the quests are not really interconnected with each other. So yeah. I see some of you in the chat saying we need Darby, but we're gonna see what happens with Hexe for sure. But there's a lot more story that needs to be told with Shadows. They did mention that the modern day story is going to be told through the post launch. There's going to be expansions to Shadows. They already mentioned the Claws of Wawaji expansion. It's going to be a 10 hours expansion with all the content. Maybe there are going to be smaller expansions, and there's going to be a lot of small expansions with a lot of story elements that might involve the Isu or not. Who knows? What I do know is that the starting point is a very solid game for sure. But story-wise, not for hardcore fans. Like modern day is almost non-existent. The assassinate stuff is bare bones. Templar stuff is also bare bones. The main targets, they are okay. Like the story is okay. The story of Yasuke and Naoe, that is quite good, to be honest. Like the path of Naoe from the start, because they also have flashbacks. Like the game provides you with flashbacks that you have to find, especially for Naoe. Like some of the flashbacks are tied to an activity that only Naoe can do. And these flashbacks also have specific historical dates, which it's been a while since Assassin's Creed provided actual historical dates to the day. While usually it's the game is starting in that year, goodbye, and that's it. In this case, it's not. At least the flashbacks, they do provide the exact date when they are starting. Plus, there are historical events in the game, so based on that, you can have an idea of the timeline. And there are no timeline issues as far as I found. Probably because this is more grounded in history, so there's no. I mean, as in all the RPG games, you can do quests in parallel. So it's gonna be up to us community members. The people at the wiki are very good at this to prepare a proper timeline of all the stories. But yeah. There are good elements to the story, but not the ones that I was looking forward to. That's it. So Era 3 of Assassin's Creed is a lie, and we need Darby to save it. It's not what I said. It's not what I said. But Phase 3 surely is not starting on a how do you say it, on a good foot, with a proper footing for Assassin's Creed fans, or for Assassin's Creed fans that are into the lore. If you're not into the lore, this is a friggin' amazing game in all of its aspects. The progression that we did not discuss yet, but there's a lot of skills that you can use and customize your character on. Like, you can properly create your character based on the skills that you add. Different weapons mean different strategy and different skills put in the different weapons. They really change your approach to combat and stealth and also exploration. But yeah, story-wise, and for Assassin's Creed lore fans, like I said at the start of the stream, it really is an
Okay.
So Sary is learning the kata.
Okay, now I got what I have to
You
do.
can also retry the group without.
What do I have to do?
You have to. This is just push the buttons, and then
okay.
sometimes you have to hold them.
Okay.
When there is the circle, you have to hold them.
When there is a circle. Okay.
Yeah. So Chantry Scholar is asking about the voice acting. I definitely felt like the voice actor for Yasuke was much better than the voice actress for Naoe. Though I grew accustomed to both, and that means also to Naoe, to her style, to her voice approach. So I think that you get used to that. You get accustomed to that delivery, and it doesn't feel that bad in the end, as most people seem to imply. Because when you see a small snippet of Naoe talking, it might feel like she's monotone or somewhat like monotone, but like playing the whole game and feeling, seeing her range of emotions, you can feel that a little bit more. Does the game take place in a specific region of Japan? It's a specific region, like Ikrik said. Specifically, it's the Kansai region, meaning it's a lot of provinces that actually existed in Japan at the time, and some of which are still existing today. But it's not the whole of Japan. There's not the northern side of Japan, and there's not the western part of Japan. It's like central Japan, with the huge lake Biwa, which has some islands inside of it. As you can see, even right now, there's not only boats that you can use to move across rivers, but there's also other boats that are moving and you can hitch a ride from, especially in Lake Biwa. There are a lot of historical locations like the Seta Bridge, like the Honnoji Temple. There's a lot of temples in Kyoto. you can expect the Honoji famous incident happening in the game. I'm not gonna say more because if you don't know that historical event, it might also act as a story spoiler. But yeah, would have been funny if we could visit Tsushima in this game, but I think that Tsushima is not a real island in Japan. They could have added a fake island called Tsushima, but I'm not sure because I think because it's a fake island, I think that Sucker Punch has the rights to the name, so I'm not too sure. Favorite side activity? Tsushima is a real island? Really? Sorry guys, I thought it was a fake one. I definitely thought it was a fake one. I don't know where I read that. Sorry guys then. Sorry about that. So they could have used that. Maybe it's in there. I haven't explored the whole of the game and the world yet, so there might be an Easter egg about that. Favorite side activity as 6 keys, I'm gonna say side activity. I'm not too sure. I don't seem to have a favorite. I felt like the archery, maybe the Kujikiri probably, the meditation, because, and I'm going by exclusion, like the kata training that we saw earlier. Yes, they are nice, like you're pushing buttons and they are teaching you combos, but there's not a combo list, so if you don't learn those combos while you are doing the katas, you're gonna stick to your own combos that you learn by muscle memories. The archery training ground, the horseback archery, it felt really easy at times. It became only tough when it's either dark or you cannot see, so you cannot see the targets. But other than that, it's really easy. So I didn't have that much fun with that. The Kujikiri was... Look at this. This is an example of hitching a ride through on a river, which is quite nice. Look at the light. The lighting system is free. I've never seen anything like this in a game. Kujikiri, like I said, it's more interesting to me because yes, it's still pushing buttons that appear on screen, but it's also tied to story elements, at least at the start of the game, and also it's tied to Naoe and her relationship with the world and her father and whatnot. So it's a little more tied to Naoe, so I would say that's my favorite. Again, for story reasons. What else? Same for that new game, Yote. Okay. The inhabitants even honor the devs of Ghost of Tsushima for bringing more attention to their home. I didn't know that. Oh my god, I made such a huge mistake. Damn.
You'll be punished.
I will be punished. Some way. Hi, is this one of the lives when you unlock equipment pieces for the game? No. Sadly, no, Gino. Because those are only on Twitch. Sadly, we do not stream on Twitch. Otherwise, we would have done that. There are a lot of streams in this week. I think it's from the 18th to the 25th to the 25th of March. When if you are staying live on the stream on Twitch, you're gonna get Twitch drops. But then, would you say what happens in this game ruins, contradicts, disrespects the lore like Odyssey? I'm gonna answer this question and a question that was asked earlier about memories. So, it does contradict the lore in memories, but Memory was a game on mobile that came out in 2014. Not a lot of people played it, and I expected the game to go over its story, and it did. So, I mean, it did easily, but in that it didn't follow what was established in there, but it very broadly kept some characters' affiliations to specific organizations. Let's put it like that. So yes, it contradicts Memories, but in terms of the other games, I don't think it contradicts any of them, because there's no reference to any of them in the game, other than one single reference to AC Brotherhood that I found in one of the Templar quests. So I would have to, go back into the intricate details of every single line of dialogue, and I'm gonna do that for our classic analysis, which are not going to be about the Isu, because there's no Isu stuff in the game. So they're going to be about the Assassins and the Templars, for what is in the game. And for modern day, I guess we're going to have to wait a little bit more, or we're going to discuss. I'm still trying to figure out what our analysis are going to be, but there are really not so many lower references to the other games. I would have to dig a little bit deeper about the Brotherhood in Japan and what the characters are, what they're telling about it. But on the surface, there's no contradiction to the established lore, because this is very much like its own game with no ties to the other games. Even if there are Assassin and Templar stories within it. Bow headshot is okay as Yasuke, but Naoe can one-shot easily based on her skill alone. Yes, with the kunais. Did you try the game on hard difficulty? Is it bullet sponges or proper difficulty? I haven't tried it on difficult, on expert. I have seen a few videos. If you're talking about combat, surely it's going to be more difficult. If you're talking about stealth, I think that the progression system is going to be similar. So you will have to properly upgrade your character to be able to assassinate characters, or use guaranteed assassination is in the option, so you can still have that. And it's gonna be tougher, proper harder difficulty, in that the guards are going to spot you on the roofs, while on normal they do spot you on the roof, but only if you give them cost to. So other than that, they're not gonna look on the roofs. What else? In terms of difficulty, that's it. So bow headshot gameplay good as Origins. It takes a little bit more time for you to actually release the arrow. Sometimes it's that frame, that excruciating frame that you need to release the arrow, that does not happen, and that can change. You can be hit and you can be interrupted. So look at the world. Even at night, there's like these the mist in some situation, in some world locations, coupled with the moonlight. It's amazing. Yes, no Isu in the game, no Isu content in the game. So no Pieces of Eden that I know of, no Isu characters, no Isu voices, no nothing. I did mention that earlier. It's more like a warning than a spoiler because I'm telling you what is not in the game rather than what is in the game. Shadows too dark. I wouldn't say that. I mean, it is darker, but it has darker locations. Assuming you're talking about shadows and shades and not the tone of the game. But
season.
Oh, let's move to winter. I think it's my favorite season in the game. It's so good. It's so good to move in the snow and to look at the landscapes in the snow. Look at this. It's so great. Look at me doing the Italian gestures. It's so great. The only situation where winter is not so great is in your hideout. We also have to discuss the hideout. The hideout looks much better in spring and autumn, maybe also in summer, but in spring and autumn it's amazing. But yeah. MKM fan, anything issue related content? No, sorry. No. Nothing at all that I was able to witness, at least. In Rafiti's video, he says the ending is a punch to the lore. Okay. Six Keys, good night. Oh, look at this. This is a... sorry for a moment. 6 Keys, good night. Thank you for joining us. It was so great to see you again. Look at this. Like, the landscape in the winter with the warm lights in the city. Can you go back to the city? Oh, look at this. This is so cool. And knowing that you can go there and look at the city and look at the snow all around, it's so great. It's amazing. Orfa, going back to what you were saying, in Rafiti's video, he says the ending is a punch to the lore. Are there things that you wish were not canon? I wouldn't say it's a punch to the lore in that it contradicts anything that I know of. It might. I finished the game yesterday afternoon, so I haven't been able to recollect in detail my thoughts about the story, like to know everything in detail. I'm still not at that point. But I think I don't want to do any Rafiti-splaining here, but I haven't watched his videos. But I do agree it's a punch to the lore in that there is not enough for what concerns the Assassins and the Templars. There's definitely not enough. Even in that Templar-related story that I enjoyed a little bit more because it felt less confused. The Templar story, it starts at some point you meet a character. It says, I mean, Yasuke gets mad when a name of a character is told to him. He goes to meet this character, and this character, you meet it for the first time. You don't know who this is. It's not part of the main story. It's not part of the flashbacks. You meet this character, and it says name and surname, and then underneath it says Templar. And it's like the game is telling you, hey, you are supposed to hate this guy because Yasuke hates him. Wait. Yasuke hates him, but you don't know who he is. So, Sary appeared in the camera. Sary, can you? Sorry for a moment. So, Yasuke knows who this character is, the first Templar that you meet in the game, but you do not. So you are supposed to dislike and hate this character without knowing anything about him. So the game is telling you, hey, you're supposed to assassinate this guy and kill this guy and believe Yasuke. And then only after that there is an explanation why he hates him. So Even the Templar story that I enjoyed, I think it wasn't delivered properly. Then it has a nice payoff, for sure. Oh man, they're attacking us. Don't you dare. There we go. Solved. So yeah. What else? Did I miss any other questions? Templars in these games are generic evil bad guys or more philosophical gray? No, I'm gonna say they are evil bad guys. I'm gonna say the philosophical tones are more in the shinobi story for Naoe, in the flashbacks for Naoe, in the flashbacks for Yasuke when he learns to be a samurai, and maybe a little bit in the ending of the assassin related story, a little bit, but philosophical story is not connected to the Templar characters. The Templar characters really feel like, I wouldn't say generic. Some are not. But they're definitely, evil bad guys. Save for one of them, but not the top Templar guy. One of the Templars is actually believing he's doing good for Japan. But because the Assassin and Templar stories are optional and then relegated to the prologue and the epilogue, there is also not so much time to develop these characters. So they definitely appear as evil bad guys because you didn't even have time to spend with them to see what their motivations actually are, other than, doing bad stuff. So that is also a negative element in this. A negative element in the lore treatment in this game. And I understand why Rafiti said it's a punch to the lore, also because of the modern day. Because modern day is almost non-existent and the Isu stuff is not there at all. So I understand why. Like, modern day is even worse to me, I would say. Modern day is even worse for now, before, like, in Shadows. Modern day is even worse than the modern day in Unity and Syndicate. Maybe Unity was very, very, like, one cutscene and some documents. In here, maybe there are a few more cutscenes and a few documents, but like Unity levels. Let's put it like that. Does the story feature some character that's equal to Yasuke? Like the Bond movies always have one bad strong henchman that feels Yasuke is gonna have a problem with. Very rarely, I'm gonna say. There's no single main character that Yasuke feels like he might be in trouble with. There are huge enemies that are part of the various organizations that are in the game, but it's more like gameplay. Like, you are huge, he is huge. How is it gonna end? But like, story wise, there's no character that that Yasuke might feel he's measuring himself up to, which is, I mean, there's a lot of situations where instead in the story he says, you know what I'm capable of, so you better not do this. So he knows, and he's using his advantage, even like when he's relating to enemies or like gray characters. But no, I wouldn't say there is a an equal kind of character to Yasuke. Yeah, sorry. Unity modern day, as in, yeah, there are some cutscenes. Technically, some are playable, as in you're moving a character in the in the memory corridor, but you can't do anything. So, also it's not a character. It's like a figure they are moving. I'm not going to spoil it too much. But yeah. Templars in the... Okay, no. Have they given any update on the multiplayer mode? Not really. And if I recall correctly, that was leaked. So I'm not even sure if that's actually gonna happen. Was it... I think it was co-op that was leaked many months ago. But I'm not too sure. I miss those unique, not so bad Templars like Heitam. Yeah, I don't think there. I didn't find any character like Heitam in this game. And the top Templar is really like a baddie character that always that does only nefarious crimes, and that's it, and has nefarious purposes in the country. So yeah. Devs try to appeal to many everything, spreading themselves too thin and unable to deliver it all well. Maybe this is the approach now, or this is the approach with Quebec. I don't want to generalize, but there are a lot of elements that this game has in common with Odyssey, and that's not to say necessarily not only bad elements for fans. The world is amazing and is even much better and much more fun to go through than in Odyssey. It's not as repetitive as it was in Odyssey. The gameplay is a huge focus of this, as it was in Odyssey. The historical characters, and this is even like way more grounded than Odyssey. So that's good. Look at this. Doing the Kujikiri in the snow is so great. Like, super amazing. But also, like in Odyssey, it feels like the team... It has focused a little bit more on fans, as in this time the fan-related lore, like Assassins and Templars, it doesn't feel like it's contradicting anything, while in Odyssey, everything was contradicting. Like, a lot of story points were... plot points were contradicting the established lore. In this case, it doesn't feel like it's the case. But also, Odyssey had some modern day portions, and this does not, or not in that fashion. So yeah, it has some elements in common with Odyssey, but feels better than Odyssey in a lot of elements. But the style is there. Like, focus on the world, focus on gameplay, and fan-related content. Less so. Let's say less so. To put it simply, you weren't angry with the story. Just with the main story, it was just okay. Like, it was the hunt for the targets was okay. The story of Yasuke and Naoe I did enjoy a lot because of the flashbacks and the epilogues. And I am angry / disappointed with how the lore was treated in this game, as in there was not nearly enough. Like, the assassin story is confusing to a degree. The Templar story, the Templars are really one-dimensional. but it's still there at least, and modern day is non-existent. So, and Isu are non-existent. So, I wouldn't say little disappointed. I'm hugely disappointed for those topics. While I did enjoy Yasuke and Naoi's story and their duality as well. I also did suspect Yasuke at some point in the story, but then he's a good guy. Also, he couldn't be a bad guy and then continue the story in post-launch. I should have thought of that, but yeah. Any Isu weapons? No, there are no Isu weapons because there's no Isu content at all in the game. Gameplay is very satisfying, as Ikrek is saying. Copy Shadows, it was leaked, but never ever mentioned, so it might be very much down the line in post-launch if it's still there. They need to pull off an Origins where there is an assassin-focused DLC. Chris, I 100% agree with that. Oh, you kind of forgot that pawns, that they are iced. Look at this. This was really cool. I didn't know this. So you cannot do a leap of faith because the water is frozen? Can you do that again?
Sure.
Can you die again intentionally? Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know this. This is not gonna add to the high Sary counter, because this is, you're supposed to go there, like to jump in the water. That's so cool. You are forced to not do the leap of faith. Amazing. They should have added an animation where she does the leap of faith but ends up very bad. Man, that's so cool. Anyway, from your first impressions of the game, where would you rank Shadows amongst the other games? Oh yeah, this was asked at the start of the stream. I mean, overall, I would say, I don't know, because like gameplay wise and world wise is like number one, definitely. So overall, it might be top 3, because I wasn't impressed with the story, and to me, in my personal top 3, in my personal list of games, like story is not important, it's fundamental. So top 3 or top 4, because the story elements really lowered it down. Like if he had a story like that of Valhalla, but with the gameplay of this game and the world of this game, it would have been the definitive game. Like it would have been unbeatable. Like the story in Valhalla, a lot of people said it's bloated, it's long, and there are story arcs for each region, when in this case that's not the case. There are some regions that do not have a target story mission, even though you kind of visit them through the assassin and temporal missions. But other than that, you don't get to visit all the regions through the main story. You do through the epilogues, though. But yeah. So it ranks top 3 or top 4 because of the story. Because otherwise, like, in terms of gameplay, it's number 1. In terms of the world, is number 1 by far. Because the seasons, they make this world, like, there's 4 versions of this world. And they are all amazing. It's crazy to say this. Like, with AC3, we were shocked to see the same world in different conditions. And it was, winter and summer. and in this case, it's 4 seasons, and it's beautiful to look at. And because of some of the story elements in the game, some small parts of the game world, they do change. Like, because of some historical events, that building is not going to be, or it's going to be destroyed after that event happens in the game. So it's not going to be as you find it at the start of the game. So there are small chunks of the game that change also as the story goes on. So yes, like, amazing gameplay as story, exactly. Valhalla story is so underrated. I mean, I enjoyed it so much that I made, I don't know, 12, 15 videos about it, like 15 analysis videos about it. And as for about the mysteries of that story, not the main story itself. For Mirage, I did 2 to 3 videos about its story, and I feel like in this case it's going to be the same, probably a little bit more, because there's a little bit more to dig in, and with more modern day coming up, with the post launch, there might be more analysis coming on the way, but based on the game itself, I don't think there's a lot of secrets to explore here. There's no Isu language. There's no. I didn't find any mystery that might involve some searching or some researching or anything like that. I don't know how many of you remember the Magister Vitus mystery in Valhalla. There were drawings in different locations that pointed you to a specific assassin tomb that you ended up only if you were able to triangulate the position. I didn't find any mystery elements in this game, other than the endings and what they are leading to, but that's it. What about essence? What do you mean? Define essence. What do you mean? Orpha, tell me what you mean by essence, and I'm gonna try and answer your question. Valhalla story had the highest highs and lowest lows in terms of story of the franchise. Yeah, I'm talking about Vanilla Valhalla, which is a word game in itself, but without talking about the DLCs. Like, post-launch in Valhalla, the story in the post-launch of Valhalla were most of the time. And let's not even talk about Dawn of Ragnarok. In this case, like, main game Valhalla, the story was incredible, in my opinion, in many regards. Chris never finished the game. Was the villain not straight up bad? Yara, do NPCs comment on Yasuke's skin tone or the fact that he's a foreigner? Yes. NPCs, sometimes they do, in the world. I did find some occasions, but not so. It wasn't so frequent that they bowed down to him as he was walking down the street. It did happen a few times, but not as much as I expected based on the first gameplay trailer. Ibrahim, sorry if I skipped your question. Can you please rewrite it? I'm gonna get back to it. What else? NPCs, as in characters in the story that are not, main targets. A lot of characters in the story do mention that he's a foreigner. Are we talking about the traces left in the snow? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the footprints are in there, which is quite nice. What else? In the story itself, they comment a lot about him being a foreigner. There are some characters that say, hey, he's a foreigner, he should not even train to be a samurai and whatnot. It's in the flashbacks and it's also in the main story, so you can expect that. If you never play an assassin, it's hard to say there's a lot of essence. Okay, then in that case, if you consider essence as the essence of a brand, as in, if your concept of essence of the brand is playing as an assassin and doing assassin things, not only in terms of gameplay, but also, being part of the Brotherhood and doing stuff for the Brotherhood and philosophy stuff, etc., then not so much of the essence as you consider it, Orpha, not so much. But an Assassin's Creed game can be a lot more than that, and each and every one of us has a different opinion of what an Assassin's Creed game is. In terms of gameplay, there is a lot of Assassin's Creed essence in here. In terms of exploration and in terms of care for the details in the world, there's a lot of Assassin's Creed essence in here. In terms of story and in terms of characters, the philosophy is there-ish. I mean, the quest of Naoe and Yasuke to bring justice is quite interesting. It's more interesting than having vengeance, and the message of the game is quite important here, and it's delivered properly, I would say. It starts with Naoe being on a path of vengeance, as many other characters in the various Assassin's Creed games, not like Ezio or Bayek, but it turns into a quest for justice. And it turns into a quest for justice that is not just said, now we want justice. It's more the characters reflect on this. And it's interesting because we see it in the side quests, especially. Because side quests here are not actual side quests like in Valhalla or Odyssey. The side quests here are more like the world events in a way, but they are tied to our main characters. Many of the side quests are actually moments that Yasuke and Naoe share when they discuss their story, what they are trying to do. Sometimes they're having a fun moment to relax from their super serious path that they are dealing with. Sometimes they are trying to discuss their own past, even though both of them are not really. Naoe talks about her past a few times, while Yasuke does not, and you have to play his quest in order to understand his past, because he doesn't tell anybody. Ibrahim. Didn't hear any comparisons to Ghost. Maybe I joined too late. Yeah, we did mention some comparisons to Ghost. I feel like this game is way more realistic than Ghost. Ghost has a color saturation that is too much in your face. And it's impressive when you see it, but then when you compare it to this, like what you're seeing here, like there are entire woods here, there are huge structures that you can climb, and they are all realistic and real. They feel real. The world is so crazy for the attention of detail, and for how it is curated. And there are no bugs. I didn't find any bug in 60 hours of gameplay. Other than the game freezing only once. In terms of story, I don't know how to compare it to Ghost. It delves deep into the Japanese traditions and into the Japanese politics of this time. So, in terms of story, that of Jin is a story of both vengeance and it you expect it to be redemption, but then he turns into the ghost and he makes his own path, like a Shay Cormac, I would say. This is a quest for justice, for people that cannot defend themselves, like for the poor people, for the people that are that the politicians in Japan are using for their own goals. So Naoe and Yasuke are actually on a path of trying to protect the people that cannot defend themselves, and in that regard, it's a very nice message that the team is trying to convey with this game and with this story. So we need to put an accent, a strong spotlight on that, because it seems that even with all the criticism that the game had by fans or by grifters that presumed what the story in the game might have been about, the game is actually about the pursuit of justice for people that cannot defend themselves. So in that regard, our main characters are trying to do that. And I didn't find many or any occasions where I felt like the game disrespected the Japanese culture. Actually, it told me, it showed some traditions that I didn't know about, like the Rengakai, for example. But not only that, there are it goes so much into telling you about through one of the main target missions, you get to know about the tea ceremony. Are you trying to understand if that is water or ice? I feel like that's water. Yeah, it's water. So yeah, there's also like the tea ceremony. It shows how it should be performed, what you should do. So it actually, instead of presuming that it goes against the Japanese culture, it actually not enhances, but it does bring the Japanese culture to people that might not know much about it, and the codex feature also helps with that a lot. So yeah, I really want to get that across. No animal attacks, no. It's not. It's more. I think it's more about our characters that do not want to attack animals. Also gameplay-wise, there are no features connected to hunting and crafting. So that's the reason why. Exactly, merciless killing is not warranted. It does feel. Look at this. I love this. Like these rural environments. It's so great, and in winter everything looks much better. What about the soundtrack? AC is always top notch in that regard. Nick said that it felt very vibe, not fully awe-inspiring. Yeah, I would say adequate is the proper answer, because it felt innovative at times, because there are. Oh man, Siri got to talk for some reason. I wonder why. and she started even. Oh, because I said vibe soundtrack, Siri started a vibe music. Oh my god.
She
don't get me to say other stuff that Siri might start. What was I saying? Yeah, I was going to say some of the music is quite, let's call it innovative for an Assassin's Creed game, because there are some poignant moments where you would expect an epic music, and instead there is a different tone in the music with different beats and etc., with instruments that are seemingly from that historical period. There are the tracks by Teke Teke, which are very you wouldn't expect them to be to be the historical vibe you would expect from a game like this, but sometimes you get accustomed to those as well. Like I'm thinking of a very spoilery event that I cannot talk about in the prologue. Ooh, that was close. That has one of those moments. But yeah, and the rest of the soundtrack is good, but other than the main theme, I didn't find anything that was super memorable to me, and also awe-inspiring, as Craig said. I would have to listen to the tracks on their own without waiting for them to pop up in my game. But as of now, for example, I can't think of a track that left me speechless, like okay, I forgot the name, but there was a track in Valhalla that hit me so hard. Let me look for it, because I definitely don't recall it, and now I have to get it. Damn. Anyway, Nick, you are my playlist. Yeah, no, it was the one. What was the region of?
You loved it so much, you don't even remember.
I don't remember. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it will come to my mind. Anyway, so far no Ezio's music. So there is an Ezio music actually in Shadows at the end of the in the flashback at the end of the Templar story. There is an assassin theme / Ezio's family theme in the flashback at the end of the Templar story, when there's a specific unnamed character that appears and does stuff. Are we in the 22nd century now? Oh, you mean in the modern day? In the modern day, we do not know when we are or where we are. We are inside the Animus, I suppose, but I don't know. It's not outright stated when we are. Also, because at least in the modern day files that I found, there is no reference to a time frame. Other than there is a climate catastrophe going on in the world. That's something that we mentioned already in our videos. Basically, there is a one of the modern day files mentions that there's a super high temperature outside, meaning that people cannot stay outside or they will die, and so a lot of poor people are dying in the heat. It's a file that takes place in Morocco, if I recall correctly. So there's that. It's not out of the north, even though I love that as well. It's the region with Winchester, which was the region? Oh my god, it had a title. Kingdom of Wessex. Thank you so much. Yes, you are my playlist, Nick. Yeah, Kingdom of West. There's no track in Shadows that has the epic, awe-inspiring tone that Kingdom of Wessex has. And that struck me even when I heard it for the first time in dev interviews at the time. So yeah. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it didn't stay with me as much as other soundtracks. I would have to listen to it a little bit more and have a better idea. For sure. And, well, the high temperature could be in the present day considering the Layla and the... Yeah. I meant in the present day, of course. It could be because they couldn't fix the problem at the end of Valhalla. But technically, actually... Layla fixed the problem at the end of Valhalla. She sacrificed herself in exchange for allowing Basim to get out, like Juno did, basically, but in the opposite. Like, Basim stopped the catastrophes so that the world could go on. So, in theory, there shouldn't be any climate issues other than those that are actually happening in the real world. But this seems like it's a much worse catastrophe, so we might be in the future of some kind. Yeah, she stayed to find a solution, so maybe you're right. Maybe that's the consequence of that. Could be. It definitely wasn't mentioned in the game anyway. So, did that die share explode? I didn't see. Did it explode? That was close, but no. So, which other topics we haven't discussed in the review? I think the progression, we haven't touched upon that that much. Again, like I said, progression is tied, I think, to two main factors. That is the skill trees and the look at that, and the loot that you can find in the game. So basically, the loot, as I mentioned, you get a lot of generic loot. The naming of the loot is also not great, in my opinion. There's a lot of, low-ranking loot that you can find. It pushes you a little bit more to look at the stats. There is visual customizations from the not from the start of the game, but you unlock visual customization in the hideout with specific buildings. So yeah, you have a constant inflow of loot. So you don't need to necessarily upgrade your equipment in order to stay in par with the enemies. But you can also upgrade your gear if you want your specific equipment or weapon to be on par with your level, or if you want to keep your legendary item because of the perks that it has. Then there are perks that you can find in the world, and once you find them, once you upgrade the forge building in the hideout, you can also engrave the perks on your weapons, so that's fine. And then, of course, the progression is very much based on the skill trees. Can we have a look at the various skill trees in the mastery page of your menu? So there is a skill tree for every weapon. Can I? So there is a skill tree for every weapon that your character has. And also a skill tree for your archetype, so shinobi or samurai. And then now because now it has fewer weapon types. She has a skill tree for the tools, where you can unlock the tools like the kunai, the shuriken, etc., and also upgrade them. So you can upgrade the damage that the kunai can have, or the how the shinobi belt can attract the enemies and whatnot. But also the weapons. It's here, like in each of the weapon tree. It's here that you can find the abilities that are the active abilities that you're using in combat, but also the passive abilities, like these skills. Katana mastery, so it increases stats, but also it adds new moves that you can do with your weapons, like this quick strike with the kusarigama, the tanto blade. There's a lot of passive skills here, and each level of these skills, it's unlocked by doing the side activities. No, there's no teleport activity ability as far as I know. The accumulation of skill points is shared, so if you get a skill point while you're playing as Naoe, you will get it also for Yasuke, and vice versa. What else? Yeah, like I said, each as you can see, there are 6 levels of this, 6 tiers of these skills: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And basically, every tier is unlocked with the so-called knowledge points, which are basically you get them by doing the kujikiri or the kata or the archery training, or by finding the lost pages in the temples, which are not pages that you read. They are just collectibles tied to specific locations. And each time you like, every rank, every tier is unlocked through 10 to 15 knowledge points. So you will have to do some of the side activities in order to get the better skills. And there is also the assassin skill tree, where that's where you power up your hidden blade. That's where you power up your assassination damage, but also that's where you get the special assassination, like the rush assassinate, as you can see here, or the double assassination, or the assassination through the shoji door, this one. So so there's that, and the same goes for Yasuke. At some point in the game, you also get the button to switch to the to Yasuke's masteries from the same page that you are. Like, if you're here now, this right now you can only see play as Yasuke, but further on in the game, I think you can access the mastery of the other character from this menu without having to shift the characters. Every skill feels super grounded, as Nick said. I agree. There's no magic ability. Maybe there are some over the top ones, like throwing the kusarigama and jumping towards the enemy. But then again, we can consider that the assassins, they are our main characters. They are super athletic, super cool in their in what they do, and also some of them have Isu DNA, which we do not know. Now it has Isu DNA because she has Eagle Vision. So technically we can say there is Isu content in the game, I guess. So her over-the-top abilities are still explained within the game without being magic, which is really cool. Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be? I guess you're asking if we're streaming this. Yeah, we are streaming this right now, and we're going to stream the game even weekly, I think, in the coming weeks. So starting after, I think Thursday, I think we're gonna be able to stream any kind of content. So Meal 86247, yes, we're gonna stream the game. We're gonna probably next time we're gonna start from the prologue and see where that gets us, and then have like a dedicated save file where we can play every time we get to play. And of course, if there are going to be major patch releases, we're gonna stream those as well. So you can expect the same kind of content that we created when Valhalla came out or when Mirage came out. But Valhalla had a strong post-launch, and I expect this game to have the same. So we're gonna stream a lot of that as well. I wonder if her blade is exact Connor's. I would say no. Because, well, Connor gets his... Connor lives 2 to 3 centuries after this, but also this... I don't think that Connor's blade is comes from this one. They could retroactively say that his blade was inspired. The blade that he got was inspired by the Japanese assassins, but I wouldn't say. Come on, Sary! Come on, Sary! Thank you so much, Meal. Thank you for the sub. One other flaw is that the reset skill is annoying, as it reset the whole the whole tree that you want to respect. Yes, I hated that, so I never did that. If I made a mistake by unlocking something, I mean, I did try not to make mistakes by unlocking something that I do not want. There are, I don't recall which ones, but there were some skills. Oh yeah, there are some assassin skills where, I don't know, it's either when you are using Eagle Vision or when you are in stealth mode that, I don't know, time slows down and you're not spotted or something like that. And I don't want that to not be realistic, so I didn't unlock that on purpose. But yes, that's an issue. If you want to respec, you're gonna have to then place all the skill points everywhere. So I cannot imagine doing that, especially when you are doing post-launch. I hope they can add the chance to respec a single skill point. Otherwise, not amazing. The Spartan kick from Yasuke is still a bit ridiculous. I think that's, at this point, it's more like a trait of all the RPG games. I think Basim did not have that, but Eivor did have that. And they're having like every big character do that. I don't know. I still use that in combat only because it gets enemy. You made it.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know.
Look at that. Fortified Katana of Bravery. Yeah, I still use it just because it gets enemies away, like far away from you, so you can better focus on other enemies. But yeah, I get what you guys mean. I wouldn't have minded a villain having a shard of Eden against bullets or so, but blatant superpower stuff from Odyssey, yeah, it was too much. And from Odyssey and Valhalla, where, well, in Odyssey the Isu stuff and superpower stuff was really too much. In Valhalla, the ISO stuff, I think it was proper, even though the mythology stuff could be really avoided. And there was a bloated number of pieces of Eden that you had by the end of post-launch. But going from that to no ISO stuff at all in the game, that really... I don't know how to comment that. Like, going back to what Orpha said, that's part of the essence of Assassin's Creed. So, not having the ISO stuff, I guess it's going to be there at some point, but I don't know. I wish like the team went on to explain this kind of stuff. Like, if this is a new direction for the brand, maybe that like it's more grounded, more historical, and less pseudoscience or science fiction. But I wish the team mentioned that if this is the direction. There is no torch in Shadows. Yes. Neil. Okay, I will call you Neil. Markuz' word of wisdom. I hated that, so I never did that. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I hated the concept of that, so I never did that. Pre-RPG game had a situational kick at the edge of rooftop, sending the guards flying. Yes. That was better, probably. Yeah, Sary, awesome combat, said Nick. Ikrake said, awesome combat. Hold... T, wanna see the torch? There's no torch, sadly. You cannot do that. Only darkness, yes. So when you are going in caves or in Kofun, the Kofuns are basically the tombs, the historical tombs in the game. There are actually braziers that you can light up because you do not have a torch. So you're going in the dark. Obviously, you can't see where you're going. The light is filtering through the walls, but you do not have a torch. So you have to light up braziers or candles and stuff like that. So that's going to be quite interesting. And it's sometimes these kofuns, these tombs, because it's very dark, it can be tough to know if you went in a specific direction, if you've been there already or not, because they're still puzzles, right? So lighting up the candles, it can help you understand where you have been already and where you haven't. So that's something that I found out while playing, which is quite nice. But yeah, like it was mentioned earlier, Soros is online. When it was mentioned, it was mentioned earlier, I really do hope there's an assassin-related DLC, like the Hidden Ones DLC for Origins. I hope that is going to clarify some of the elements that were introduced with Shadows, and not only wrap up some things that have been left intentionally open, but also delve a little bit more into what the assassins did or are doing in Japan, because it feels like there are no, or haven't, you will see, like it feels really disappointing to a degree. Ancient writing from the Old Kingdom, yes. Torch was my main weapon against snakes in caves. Yes, but if you do not have snakes, you do not need a torch, right? So there are no snakes in here. I recall some news mentioning legendary animals, but it might be confusing. I might be mistaken, because there are no legendary animals in here, like in Odyssey. So yeah, the animals are only there either for you to pet, and if you pet animals, they're going to end up in your settlement, in your hideout, or for you to paint. And again, if you paint animals, you might get the chance to have them in your hideout, because some of the animals that you get to paint through the Sumie activity do not end up in your. Look at this. You can find the keys. Keys are the currency in the Animus Hub to unlock some of the rewards, and you can find some of those in the game world, much as you did in Valhalla and in Odyssey for the Orichalcum, for example, in Odyssey. There's no Reda. Reda-san committed Sudoku. Exactly. Reda-san is not in the game. He committed. Oh man, we're gonna say committed Sudoku in the streams from now on, right? So yeah, only the Animus Hub. So the microtransactions are happening in the Helix store, which is separated from the Animus Hub. But the Animus Hub has the store that is similar to the Oikos of the Olympian or the Reda store when you have daily items or weekly items, and you can spend the keys in there. The thing is, keys you don't only get in the world, you get them also in the Animus / modern day missions. But the thing is, you actually in those missions you get data packs or whatever they're called, and then you get in the project section of the Animus Hub, and you use those data packs to get the rewards, but not the ones you want. Like, they are in a pre-established order. So your first reward is some keys for the Reda-like store. The second one is the gold resource for your hideout. The third one is a modern day file. Then the fourth one is more keys. The fifth one is, I don't know, an item and equipment item. So you cannot choose the rewards, which means also you cannot choose to get the keys to use in that Reda-like store. So it's I'm not sure if I like this system. I already mentioned that in the previews. It means that you won't be able to spend all your data packs on modern day files if you like, or all on keys to get items in the Reda-like store if you like. So yeah. Did it have to be the hub of all words? I guess it was called Assassin's Creed Infinity, but they wanted to convey with the name that this is a central location where all the games are going to be launched from, and where the modern day story is going to be told, or not told as it's currently the case, but I guess it's going to be unveiled through post-launch. Reda took all of the evidence of the Japanese Isu with them. Yeah, probably. Default canon outfit all the way, no worry about store item. Yeah, I usually go with canon items. The only store items that I might use are the ones from the what's it called, Seikyu pack or something like that, the ones from the pre-orders, which are somewhat realistic but still a little bit over the top. So, oh, thank you so much, Stark. Is there a leakage of water? Must be the water. Thank you so much for the donation, Sark. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Is there a leakage of water? Oh my god. I don't know if you guys are F1 fans. Let's not open that can of worms, please. Let's go back to Shadows. Oh, and let's go back to how much I hate not having modern day in the game, instead of talking about the disgrace that Ferrari was. Anyway.
You suffer either way.
I suffer, yeah, anyway, so.
Oops.
What happened? Avoid mentioning PRC tools. Yes, please. What else? Don't get Ekrake angry. Don't do that. Just let's keep it clean in the chat. It's better that way. You were recommended as a less biased, not hate farming channel. Thank you. Thank you, and thanks to the person that recommended you. That told you about us. I am really trying to be as balanced as I can with the opinions that I have. So
I was right in front of him.
What happened?
He came this way. I was right in front of him, but he didn't see me.
See, because if you are in the shadows or in the shade, they're not gonna see you unless they are very, very close to you. There's a small animation that shows that they might see you if they are close, but still, you know, every shade element is a way for you to be incognito. And yeah, anyway, Zoreth. I always try to be as balanced as I can to provide what I believe to be positive and negative, not to just pile up on the game or to just say everything is nice and fair and beautiful and all fairies all around us. So yeah. Thank you so much, Yara. It was nice to see you in the stream and to answer all your questions. I hope I can see you soon. They try to have it as non-blind as possible, especially because I want this game to deserve every praise that it deserves, especially for its visuals, the world, the gameplay, whatnot, and to fairly criticize it within the context of how I feel, because one thing that I said earlier in the stream is that if I weren't a fan or a hardcore fan, I would have rated this game higher, because the main gripes that I have are with the lower parts of the story, like the normal the hunt for the targets is good story. Like it's very cinematic. The visuals of the characters are great. The dialogue is amazing. It's very good. It delves into the culture, into the Japanese culture, which I love so much. I was waiting for a Japanese game for 15 years, 17 years. So it's really I am trying to criticize it within the context of how I feel. Yes. Okay, Ferrari blew it, but as an Italian, you must sure be happy for Kimi. Yeah, I am. I am definitely happy for Kimi. He's a talent, and he deserves to be there. He proves he deserves to be there. Anyway, is there any other element? Overall story. I did mention the excellent story characters. A lot of historical characters. It's not only Oda Nobunaga. There are other. Man, my hair sucked today. It's not only Oda Nobunaga, but also there are both Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Even though the three, let's say, unifiers of Japan. Sorry, what? Even though Tokugawa Ieyasu and Toyotomi Hideyoshi are shown a bit less in this game, but that's because the focus is on Oda Nobunaga and the Honnoji incident, so it's more focused on the early part of the Azuchi Momoyama. Just is that the right name? Period of the history of Japan. So obviously Tokugawa Ieyasu, who would go on to become shogun in the 1600s, is still a vassal to Nobunaga now. So So yeah, there's that. What else? I saw the poster with that way up looking kid character. What's that? I think you might be referring to Junjiro, maybe? The only kid character in the game is called Junjiro, and I think it's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character, because they did say he encapsulates, he hosts the feeling of the longing for a new Japan, a different kind of Japan with no wars and whatnot. Like this kid character, he has a very deep story tied to Naoe. I'm not gonna say what kind of, because it's kind of a spoiler. But he's at first he's not on the same page with Naoe, but then he teaches her to paint, and then there's a lot of nice story elements with him, and he's a great character all around. And yeah, he's a rascal in the hideout. He makes Tomiko, who is the host of the hideout, always mad, but at the same time he sees Naoe as a big sister, and Anoe, I think that's big sister in Japanese, and he also sees because he's that's a Ronin. No. Oh, no. Oh, he's looking at you, but he's not seeing you because you were in the dark. He also sees Yasuke as a father figure because of reasons. And yes. So, how big feels the world? Also, are there many landmarks to explore? Asks Marian. It feels huge. It feels diversified. It feels beautiful and amazing. It feels there are so many landmarks to explore. There are temples, there are shrines, there are mounts, there are natural landmarks to explore. There are historical bridges. There are cities, like huge cities like Osaka and Kyoto. There are shrines. There are rivers you can cross. There are lakes. There is an island with cats inside this lake. There are so many things, and what I said earlier in the stream is that every single location from outposts to the bigger shrines and temples. And there are some huge shrines and temples. Like there are 4 or 5 temples that are so huge. They have pavilions, and you have to run a little bit. And there are roads that go up the hill with a temple that continues up the hill. Because many of the temples in Japan, they had all these steps that represent your effort to go towards the gods. Or towards the god. Yes, there's a lot of locations, and each of them feels unique and beautiful at the same time. Like each of the location that you can find on the map, both the ones that are pointed and the ones that you can find naturally in the world, they are worthy of a picture in photo mode. Like all of those are incredible. We are crazy. Oh yes, the guard was sleeping, and also, even if you take a picture of a location in a specific season, you still will have to see that in the other seasons to have the whole picture. Like you have so many video and photo mode opportunities in this game it's amazing to get lost in, especially because of the season system, the weather system, the lighting system, as you can see. Any mini games? Not that I know of. There are side activities, but not mini games. You could consider most of the side activities as mini games. So side activities are, like I mentioned earlier, they are the Kujiki meditation, where you have to press buttons as they appear on the game on the screen. Something similar happens for Yasuke for the kata training, where you have to press buttons on the screen and they tell you a specific combo that you can do with a specific weapon. What else? There's sumie paintings, where you basically stealth close to an animal so that you can paint them on your paper. Those are all mini games / side activities. The graphics are good AF, as you said, Fulad, and currently we're not even playing on Ultra. We played on Ultra at the start of the stream, and then after a few minutes it slowed down a little bit, the frame rate, so we are on very high but not on Ultra, and it still looks incredible. And we're not even on the most powerful graphic card. We are on a 3070, but also Ikrik said that even on a 1070 it looks great. So it is the game itself that looks amazing, and congrats to the team for optimizing it for every kind of graphic card, and for having such a sound visual system. Wondering what villain faction we might have this time with Ancients gone. Well, like I said, the villain faction this time is called the Shinbaku, or the Onryo. They are not they're not a version of the Templars. There is a detail at some point that will... You get the context. I'm not gonna say it. But yes, they mostly unrelated to the Templars. So they are their own faction. They are doing their own thing. And then something else is explained at some point. But yeah. So yeah, there are no flying papers. You do not have to chase flying papers in the world. But that also means there are no text coming from those papers, as it happened for AC3 and AC4, for example. Here is Sary making use of the stealth tools to clear out this temple. And what else? I think we have covered... Oh, exploration. We haven't talked about exploration. I'm gonna go pretty fast on this, because we did mention this a little bit when talking about the world. Exploration, there's a new exploration loop in here, in that you will have scouts. Basically, what happens is scouts are a resource that you can use when looking at the map to find your specific objective. So basically, during the missions, you will be given hints as to where you have to go. Oh, you have new robes. Should we put them on? We haven't shown a lot of outfits. Maybe we can show some of them when there's a better light. But you can change those. Like I said, exploration. Basically, you're given some hints. And then you can go on the map. Maybe we can show that as well. You should... let's go on the objective tab. So the objective tab is basically... oh, look at this. The objective tab, can we zoom out? Okay, so this is the tab where all of our targets, quest givers, everyone is tracked here, basically. There are a lot, so many organizations that are tracked here at some point with so many targets that you can find, sometimes even too many. And once you choose somebody that you want to track, let's choose anybody.
Like
I don't know, a target or this as well. Basically, you're given 3 hints, as you can see here in the lower right, and then they will appear on the map. For example, here it says, find the child. They are in southwestern Setsu. They are on an island west of Osaka, and they are somewhere in Kojo ruins. So basically, what you have to do here, you go to Setsu, then you find Osaka from the hints. They are in an island west of Osaka, so we go here, and then we use our scouts. As you can see in the lower left, there is the scouts resource. We have 5 scouts at this point. You can find some of them in the world, and some of them can be added by upgrading buildings in the hideout. And then you can choose to dispatch 1 to 3 of them. If you use R2 or L2, you can choose how many to dispatch, and this will amplify the circle where you're going to scout. So we're going to dispatch 1 scout here, and basically this is going to tell us where to go. But while it feels like this is the objective, actually, if we go on the map still, if we zoom in, we will see that this is not an actual objective, but we will have to go there. We can actually do that. We can go to our... Oh, we have to get out of this.
Give me a second.
Okay, let's just jump to our death. There is a lot of circles. Now you're seeing the game at 15 hours of gameplay, but when you get to 40 to 50 hours, there's so many circles of targets. Anyway, we are going to teleport to our Kakurega. Basically, these are extensions of the Kakurega building in our hideout. Basically, these are our safe houses scattered across the world, where we can refill our tools. We can we can get contracts, etc., etc. And from here, look at this. Now we can open doors. From here, we can get to our the objective that we found. But when we get there, it's still not an objective pointer. Like, it's still an area that we have to search. So it's basically hints, then dispatch scout, then reach the area, then search, and then you find the objective. So it's very realistic. It's like an investigation. But when you do that so many times... Okay, so now we are in the investigation zone. When we are in the investigation zone, we have to use the LT button. Okay. This LT button. Which is basically our observation mode. And if we are lucky... I mean, it's in the island, so it shouldn't be here, but we should go in the island. There we go. So with LT, with the observation mode, we can we can highlight the blue points, and the blue points are our final objective. So basically, what happens is there are various stages in the exploration loop. They are very realistic, but like I said, it can be tedious a little bit after every time, because you dispatch the scouts and you find the area, but it's still not the final objective, so you still have to investigate again. So sometimes if you want to go directly to the objective, it can take some time, but at the same time you can turn this off. Yes. So there is what Ubisoft calls the guided mode, which basically tells you where the objective pointer is directly. I still suggest you try and get involved with the system, because it's still fun to do and to play with. And then if you don't find it entertaining on the long run, you can just turn it off, and it will be there's guided mode. You can find it in the option, so it should be there. As a completionist, I hope there's ways to see stuff marked to not miss out on it. So basically, there's ways to see stuff marked in that when you go atop the viewpoints, you can scan. There's a lot of light in here. Okay. When you go atop a viewpoint, you can scan the world around you. I don't know if you have played the Zelda games after Breath of the Wild. You did something similar. And when you scan around the viewpoint, you're going to highlight all the various locations and points of interest in the map. So in that way, you are going to be able to not miss out on locations and stuff to see. And activities to do, etc. Other than that, they might not be highlighted. So you have to see them from the viewpoint and to scan them from the viewpoint. So this time the viewpoint is not going to automatically scan everything on the map. It's going to be you doing that, which again is more realistic, more grounded, and it gets you more involved because you are looking for stuff. So it's quite amazing. So I think we're about to wrap up this 3 hours and a half stream. Let me know if you have some final questions. I think we went over every aspect of the game, or most of the aspects of the game. If you have any other question about any aspect of the main game or the Animus Hub, please ask. I know you guys have asked already a lot of questions, and if you don't, that's fine. We can wrap up. The stream right now. Thanks for answering questions. That has helped manage expectations, especially with the lore. Yes, I really wanted to get that across. About the lore, but also about the message that the game is trying to convey. So that was very important to me, to help you guys manage expectations, exactly as you put it, Daniel. Where is Canon and Dasha? They're here. We're not gonna have the cam today, but they're still here. Final question. No manual jump. No manual jump. As far as I know, I never felt that. But yeah, as far as I know, no manual jump. You have to get to the edge of something in order to jump. Also, thanks for the review and answer. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Zoreth. Anytime. And we're gonna, like I said, we're going to stream the game in the coming weeks. We're gonna try and go on a weekly basis, and even more so if or when the post-launch is going to have content drops. So we're gonna do that. Yes, there's Ikrake has a better answer. There's manual dodge in that you do that forward jump that turns into a roll, and that is sort of like a manual jump if you call it that way, but you cannot jump, proper jump. The sprint dodge is sort of a jump, yeah. Is there any improvement in facial animation and cutscenes? Yes, absolutely, yes. Yes. Especially in the main plot elements, but in general, for the main story, there's a lot of improvements. You can see the expressions in the face of the characters. Not only our two main characters, but also main characters of the story like Oda Nobunaga. Massive improvement in cutscenes. A little less in facial animations when you are talking to characters in the world. That I feel like that still needs improvement. But in cutscenes, the game looks quite amazing. Like, really amazing. And again, alright, if you guys do not have any other questions, I think we're gonna wrap up the stream. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this new experiment of a live review. We haven't done that in the past, but we really wanted to experiment that, and we really wanted to get into all the aspects as we were talking with you guys. So I really wanted to try this. I'm happy that you guys stayed until the end. Thank you guys so much. So keep your eyes out on the channel. We're gonna soon have some analysis about the story of the game and its secrets or lack thereof. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna stream daily, weekly. Daily, no, I can't manage daily, but weekly we can. Thank you guys so much. Mamit, my rating out of 5 stars would be 4.2, which basically turns into 85 out of 100. Guys, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the remainder of the day or the night wherever you are, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye. Enjoy the game.
I'm not ready. Wait.
No. Enjoy the game. It's time. The game is out. It's going to be out in 2 days. I can't wait to hear what you guys are going to tell me about the game. Let me know in the comments wherever and in the stream next time we go. See you soon. Bye bye.